all you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another TNI news video. And just a quick reminder before we get into the news, and we do have a lot to go over today, but I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that I'm not going to be doing a live stream tomorrow on Sunday like usual. It is Father's Day and I'm going to be going to see my dad in Florida, so going to be taking a few days off. But definitely there's been a lot of news that has come out in just the last few days, so I wanted to go on and get one more news video out there to you guys. So let's start off with Boss Fight Studio, and yesterday they revealed the paint master for their next figure in their Popeye line. This line is said to be between 5 and 6 inches tall, the figures in the line, and previously we had seen their paint master for Popeye himself, and then last week we saw Bluto. This week we are seeing the paint master for Castor, and then he is going to come with Eugene the Jeep and Bernice the Waffle Hen. And the final figure, I believe, in the first wave, or that we know of, is Olive Oil. Definitely the last figure in the wave. I don't know if they'll do more Popeye figures after this wave or not, but Olive Oil is going to round out this wave, which I'm guessing we'll see revealed. We'll see the Paint Master next Friday. Now, I don't know if these figures will go up for pre-order like right after that. Originally, it was said that the figures would be up by for pre-order by late summer. So, you know, it may still be a little bit before we actually see them become available for you guys to purchase, but definitely look for Olive Oil to be revealed next week. For you Funko Pop fans, just a quick bit of news, which honestly I don't think is really going to be terribly impactful to you all, you know, unless you're like a retailer. But Diamond Distributors, you know, the largest comic book distributor in the country, announced this week, they put out a press release stating that they are now going to be the premier distributor for Funko products. So again, I don't think that's probably going to really cause huge changes as on the consumer side of things. For you retailers that you know, especially if you run a comic book shop or what have you, that might be, you know, this news might be more impactful to you. But again, I just want to go on and pass that information on to you guys. For you Power Ranger fans, just yesterday we got our first look at a new 2-pack. This was actually teased in last Friday's live stream event with the Power Rangers team. It is part of the Lightning Collection. It is a Cog Soldiers 2-pack from Power Rangers GIJoe. So again, they teased this last Friday. It has gone up for pre-order. It is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. It's going to cost you just a little bit over $40, about $42. Last time I checked, it is still available for pre-order on Hasbro Pulse, and is slated for release on November 1st. On the GIJoe front, so I did a video earlier this week talking about the figures going up for pre-order on Target's website, the Barbecue and the Breaker with Ram Cycle, the next round of Cobra Island exclusives. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about that here, other than to say that as I'm recording this, Barbecue is still available for pre-order. The Ram Cycle, the Breaker and Ram Cycle did sell out that day. It was still up for several hours, much better than we had previously seen with these exclusives. And while the pre-order sold out, you know, when the figure actually comes into stock, they will probably make it available again online. But what I really wanted to share with you today is just, I did some checking, and both of these sets are now showing up in the Target system with corresponding release dates like we've seen online. So the Breaker and Ram Cycle, it looks like it's going to be released on October 3rd, and then the Barbecue figure is going to be released on November 1st. Barbecue is going to have a price of $23, and the Breaker set's going to be $42. Just like you know, you can look online and see. What I really wanted to, but the really kind of one bit of news I want to go and share here is, previously I talked about a listing in the system for Kepler. That was the code name. That in fact was the Barbecue figure. The DPCI numbers match up and everything. The Kepler listing has now been removed from the Target system. That was obviously just a placeholder. The one thing, however, I do want to point out with that, the Kepler listing had shown that the figure was going to start showing up in stores in July. And so that's when I was thinking originally Barbecue would become available. Because that was just a placeholder, and because the sale date looks like isn't going to be until November, I wouldn't expect the figure to start showing up in stores until closer to that time frame. The system's not showing any kind of actual arrival date, just the sale date. So, but again, I wouldn't expect to see Barbecue until start hitting stores until closer to that November time frame. But just know, if you like to match up code names with the actual figures, the Kepler was in fact the code name for barbecue. And while we're on the subject of G.I. Joe, I also just wanted to share these official images for that Vamp Mark II remote control Jeep that the Hasbro announced was coming during their last live stream. This is actually being produced by company Jada Toys. This Jeep is being listed as a 1/14 scale vehicle. So not really in scale with 6-inch or 3 3/4 inch. However, it really doesn't matter because as far as I know of, you can't actually open it up and put any figures inside. There's nothing that I've seen that indicates that you can actually open the doors and put figures inside it of any size. So, personally, I feel like maybe that was kind of a missed opportunity. If they had made this so you could put actual classified figures inside it, I think people would have found it a lot more interesting. It's a pretty cool looking, accurate version of the Vamp, and it's pretty it looks like it, pretty close to a size that would fit 6-inch figures. So if they just maybe made it a little bit bigger and made it so you could open it up and put figures inside, I think, again, people would be a lot more interested. But this, if you just like remote control vehicles, or maybe you want to get it just so you can have your figures displayed in front of it or what have you, it is available for pre-order at Entertainment Earth, and the cost of it is going to be $49.99. And it is currently listed with an October release date. Following up on a story I talked about a couple of weeks ago, so also in keeping with Jada Toys, I mentioned previously how it was looking like they were going to be branching out into actual action figures, 6-inch action figures. The company is most known for doing like die-cast type vehicles and little miniature figurines and stuff. But now it looks like they are going to be actually doing an action figure line with Universal Monsters. Again, I talked about these a couple weeks ago. They had shown up listings, and some initial images had shown up from an overseas distributor. These figures are now available for pre-order at places like Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toys Store. They are 6-inch action figures. You can see with these new images, a better look at the actual articulation, and they are not actually listing the number, how much actual articulation they have, but it looks like you can get them in fairly decent poses and stuff. So the figures are going to cost $24.99 each, and they seem to be packed with quite a few accessories. The first wave is going to include the creature from the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Bride of Frankenstein. And again, with these images, you can see the figures come with multiple hands, multiple head sculpts. You get like a big giant net harpoon type gun with the creature from the Black Lagoon. And again, articulation looks pretty good. Frankenstein has 2 head sculpts, extra hands, and some big chained handcuffs, which look kind of cool. You get something similar with the Bride of Frankenstein, some poles with handcuffs, and you also, each one looks like comes with alternate heads, which is nice. And then Dracula comes along with an alternate, blood-sucking type head sculpt. You get a candle and a bat, and has a soft goods cape. So these look like are pretty nicely detailed. Since Jada Toys has never done action figures before, it's hard to say what the quality is going to be. But at least what we're seeing with these images, and if you're a fan of Universal Monsters, you might want to check these out. And then, of course, NECA is actually doing their own Universal Monster line that I've talked about before. This past news video, I talked about how NECA had shown off their first image of their Wolfman figure, and we know they're doing the Mummy and Frankenstein. And with some of those, they're doing black and white versions and colored versions. Like Frankenstein is getting both a black and white version and a colored version. It's unclear whether they're going to do that with all their Universal Monster figures, but I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up doing that. But again, NECA's doing the 7-inch, and of course NECA is also going to be doing Dracula, which we have not yet seen, but they mentioned in their press release when they announced that line. So Dracula will be coming from NECA. NECA figures are 7-inch scale; these are 6-inch, so they probably won't scale very well with one another. But if you're a huge Universal Monster fan, you might want to end up getting both lines. For you Star Wars fans, so this week we got some new Black Series reveals. So first of all, they announced that they are doing new Power of the Force retro cardback figures, starting off with Han Solo from A New Hope, Tatooine Luke also from A New Hope, and Greedo. So we're once again getting another Greedo figure. These seem to have maybe updated face decos and things like that, but the primary thing here is that they're being featured on the original Hasbro Power of the Force cardbacks. Now these figures are being released through Hasbro Pulse and they went up for pre-order on Hasbro Pulse yesterday, and last time I checked they were still available, so I don't think they've sold out there. They are also going to be released at Disney stores. Now, Disney has yet to put these up on their Shop Disney website, so I don't know if they're going to make these available online or not, but eventually you should be able to get these at Disney stores as well. And then besides that, they also announced a number of new clone figure type figures. So earlier in the week, I talked about the new vintage collection clone figures that they were doing as a 4-pack for the Bad Batch. One included Rex, who recently appeared in the show. We are now getting a 6-inch Black Series version of Rex, which has the poncho with the disguise and everything. That is a Walmart exclusive. And then the second figure that is also coming to Walmart is also Bad Batch related. It is another version of Crosshair in an Imperial armor. If you watch the cartoon, Crosshair did not join his fellow Bad Batch members and run off to escape the Empire. He actually, because his inhibitor chip was still functioning, he ended up staying with the Empire. So he's got an Imperial armor version, and again, that is going to be a Walmart exclusive. Both of those figures went up for pre-order yesterday. Captain Rex sold out instantly. The Crosshair figure was available for a little bit longer, but is now sold out as well. However, I would imagine Walmart will make more available at some point. They usually do. Now, the third figure, which is actually a Walgreens exclusive, is a new Clone Trooper figure from the 212th Battalion. So with the yellow markings and everything. Again, that is a Walgreens exclusive. Walgreens did not put this figure up for pre-order yesterday on their website, and I don't think they are going to. They don't usually seem to put figures up on their website. Not even Marvel Legends anymore. You know, I talked about how the delay of Nova in the last news video. So I wouldn't really expect to be able to get this online. And so this figure, you know, you're probably going to have to resort to getting it at physical stores. Now, other places overseas outside of the United States, places like EB Games in Canada, have put this figure up for pre-order. I believe EB Games is the one carrying this one in Canada. And then I've seen some other overseas retailers list the figure. So, you know, you folks outside the US will probably have an easier time, which has become kind of the norm with these Walgreens exclusives. You know, again, for those of you who collect Marvel Legends, we're still waiting for the Nova figure that's been out in Canada for weeks, and who knows when it's actually going to see release here. And speaking of Marvel Legends, so this week we got another reveal, a new Spider-Man retro cardback figure. This time it was Sandman. Now, I've previously told you that a Sandman retro cardback figure was coming. We didn't know exactly if it was just going to be like a reissue of the Build-A-Figure version or what. And I know many of you were hoping that it was going to be on like a smaller buck, and it looks like Hasbro was listening to you guys. So this Sandman figure is not as big as the Build-A-Figure. It is using that Hydro Man body, which I think was originally used with the Netflix Luke Cage figure. And with it, you've got the coolest thing, in my opinion, about the figure is you can have him with like sand parts, but you can also just display him as a normal human, you know, without any like sand portions. So I think that's pretty cool. You get an alternate head that is part sand with a big hole in it, you know, so you can make it look like somebody tried to punch him and their fist just goes through his through his sand. You also get various arm attachment pieces, arm and hand attachment pieces for, you know, with different sand type options. So this is available for pre-order now pretty much everywhere. You can get it at places like our sponsor Big Bad Toy Store. I believe it's also listed on Amazon's website, so you can get it there as well. It is going to be released later this year, and you know, I definitely feel like this is something that folks have been wanting. Now, just today, Ryan Ting up on social media posted these comparison images, so you can just see, you know, the size difference between the previous Build-A-Figure version and the regular release one. Also, just a quick note, there was some indications possibly we were going to get a second Spider-Man retro reveal with Rhino this week. It turned out that was a false alarm. It looked like one of the Hasbro guys was teasing that on social media. But then later they kind of indicated that that wasn't the case. They had shown an image of two actors who had played Spider-Man villains. This was right after we saw the images of the Sandman figure slip out online on Thursday. And so he posted up an image of the actor who played Sandman in the third Spider-Man movie, the Tobey Maguire movie, and then the actor who played Rhino in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie. And so that led many people, including myself, I thought it was possible that that's what they were teasing, that there was going to be a retro Cardback Rhino reveal. Now, I've not heard anything about a Rhino figure coming to the line. I told you previously about the Sandman figure coming. I'd seen indications of that, but I've not seen any indications of a Rhino figure. So if there is by some chance a Rhino figure in the works from Hasbro to be released on a Spider-Man retro Cardback, that would most likely make it some type of store-specific exclusive. I don't know if people got their wires crossed and they teased it and then weren't going to reveal it, or if they just really weren't teasing it at all, or what have you. So I can't sit here and tell you a Rhino figure is going to come at some point, but nor can I tell you 100% that it's not. Okay, now let's finish out with McFarlane Toys, who this weekend has been doing their summer showcase, showing off details and images and making official announcements about several lines. Now, with all of these lines that they've shown, we knew they were coming. We had seen listings. We'd seen some initial images. So yesterday, they showed off official images for their Avatar, The Last Airbender line. So they had released a preview image a couple weeks ago, but now we've got the detailed images. So this line is primarily going to be 5-inch, which are being released as Walmart exclusives. So these are available for pre-order on the Walmart website. They are doing a few 7-inch scale figures, and we got our first look at one of the 7-inch figures in a video that Todd McFarlane posted yesterday. The Zuko figure, 7-inch figure. But right now, the focus of this line is primarily 5-inch. So with the basic figures, we're getting Aang, again, Prince Zuko, Katara, Sokka. Then we're getting a second version of Aang with a glider, so a deluxe type set. And then finally, we're getting the creature, the Appa, which is listed as 7-inch scale, but you can see it's clearly made for the 5-inch figures. Now, as I said, all these figures, all these 5-inch figures are Walmart exclusives here, at least here in the United States, and they are available for pre-order now. And then for today's showcase, it was the 66 retro Batman TV series products that I've talked about multiple times here. So with this, we are getting new looks at the first wave of product, which includes figures of Batman, Robin, and the Joker. And then we're also getting the Batmobile and the Batcave. So both the Batmobile and the Batcave are only going to cost $30 each. And then the figures are going to cost $17.99, so $18 each. So a little bit cheaper. I was thinking the figures were going to be $20 each. They're coming in a little bit cheaper at $18 each. Now we can see with the figures, you don't get a whole lot of accessories. You get kind of a classic card back, and then it looks like the only thing you get for accessories with these are some word balloons so that you can kind of recreate the fight scenes from the series when, things like pow and all that would pop up on the screen. But you're not really getting any other accessories, it looks like, not even like a Batarang or anything like that. So very basic. You do get the soft goods cape for Batman and Robin so that you can set them in the Batmobile. The Batmobile looks like is pretty much just made with straight up plastic. Again, I wouldn't call these high grade collectibles, but I don't think they look bad. And because of the price point, that to me is what really kind of makes these appealing. A $30 playset and a $30 6-inch scale Batmobile, I think, in today's market is actually not too bad. And then, even the figures themselves are only $18, whereas most 6-inch figures these days have gone up between $23 and $25. So while you don't get a whole lot of extras with these, the price point is not too bad here. Now, we've also seen indications that there will be an unmasked Batman figure. We've not seen that one yet, but it's listed as some type of New York Comic Con exclusive. We have seen some images from overseas of an unmasked Robin and a masked Joker figure, which we still don't have any details on how those will be released. We have indications of the second wave, which have started to show up in the Target website. I have DPCI numbers for the figures in the second wave. That's where I got the pricing information of the $17.99 each. That's what Target is listing for the regular figures. And with the second wave, it's Riddler and then Batman and Joker with the swim trunks on. Unknown if Batman and Joker will also come with surfboards like we saw Mattel do when they had the license, and we're doing 66 Batman stuff. And going back to the Batcave, it is primarily just that backdrop wall, which is plastic, and then you've got the Bat reactor there on that back wall. The width of the playset is said to be about 24 inches, and then you get like various Bat computer pieces. You get about 11 pieces that you can kind of just place around the set. You've got a little circle piece of cardboard that you can put in front of it and then set the Batmobile on it, you know, just as an added look. It doesn't rotate or anything, but they, you know, added that there. You've got some bat poles. We can see with the images from Todd's video, there's some bat poles off to the side. They don't go anywhere really, but you know, they did include those. And then you've got the ladder on the reactor, and it looks like you can stand figures up there on the top of the reactor. So again, it's not that I would really consider these high-end collectibles. In fact, it really looks like these are made more for kids, which is kind of funny because I really doubt there's that many kids interested in collecting toys based on a TV series from the 60s. But nevertheless, you know, for someone like myself who just doesn't have unlimited cash and collects a lot of different lines, I definitely appreciate when we get some lower price point items like this. Now for tomorrow's showcase on Sunday, it looks like the focus is going to be on Spawn. So we've already seen preview images for the upcoming Spawn figures. I've talked about those multiple times, but we should be getting more details. We might find out if like the Gunslinger Spawn is going to be some type of store exclusive. We may even also get details on the next Spawn Kickstarter, which is said to be for the medieval Spawn. So I don't know if we're going to get full-on details and like the Kickstarter is going to launch here in the very near future, but I wouldn't be surprised if he talks a little bit about that tomorrow as well. So look for that. We'll have coverage of that up on TNI when it becomes available. The one final bit of news I have for you guys from McFarlane Toys today is a new My Hero Academia figure. This is a 7-inch scale figure, if you could call it that. So it is a figure of the Toru character, who I'm not super familiar with this property, but I guess power is invisibility. So you can see here that that's what they've pretty much given you. You don't really actually get an action figure. You get this weird looking display stand that has a pair of hands and then a pair of shoes at the bottom there. So I guess you see the character's hands and shoes, but nothing else. So that's the idea behind the figure. It is being released as a limited exclusive through Funimation. It is $18, so I don't know if it's, yeah, I think it's kind of funny that they're doing it, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's worth $18 since you don't actually get a real figure with it. But I guess if you're a super diehard My Hero Academia, this might be one that you want to check out. Okay, so that's it for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything I talked about in the comment section below. Also, if you haven't already, please think about subscribing to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Like the video, hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. Stay safe out there, guys, and until next time, I'll catch you later.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.